Every year, thousands of college athletes endure season-ending injuries. Among those severe injuries, anterior cruciate ligament, also known as ACL tears, are one of the most prominent among student athletes. Furthermore, female athletes are 5 times more likely to suffer from an ACL-related injury than male athletes. WIU softball player Brooke Stulga is working to get herself back to full strength after tearing her ACL last fall.
Well, I was at practice one day and I was out in the outfield shagging balls, and the ball went over my head and I jumped for it, and when I landed I guess my ACL just snapped and I couldn't stand back up. My trainer had to carry me off the field basically, and I got an MRI the next day and found out I tore my ACL.
Athletic trainer Jacob Brenneman has had experience dealing with these type of injuries.
In the past, I've seen some real traumatic one. Not necessarily incredibly traumatic, but I have seen some serious ones.
It was hard, especially when I first found out, because when it first happened, we thought it was just an LCL tear, which would have only put me out for 3 weeks, 4 weeks maybe. And when my MRI came back and I found out that I tore my ACL, it was really hard, especially at the time. I thought I was going to be out for at least 6, 7 months, but once my surgeon explained it to me and everything, then I would probably be back within 3 months. It got a lot easier.
ACL tears have plagued some of the world's greatest athletes for years. Adrian Peterson, Tom Brady, Derrick Rose, all headline the list of all-star athletes whose seasons were cut short due to an ACL tear. Unfortunately for them and other athletes, ACL tears are almost nearly unpreventable.
For traumatic injuries, sometimes they just happen, and sometimes we can't really control or prevent some of the things that happen. They just happen.
Depending on the severity of the tear, after surgery, recovery times for athletes can range anywhere between 6 to 9 months because they require daily therapy to get the muscles in the leg back to their original strength.
We have to kind of mainly get that swelling down, and then a lot of it is getting the quad to kind of get back to itself, to kind of get the strength back, because that's the first thing to go. That's the first thing where strength-wise is going to deteriorate. So we call it muscle atrophy. So that's one thing that we have to really kind of help rehab and get back, because right before we get into surgery, that's what we have to strengthen first, is the quad, and then after it's getting that swelling down and then getting that quad to contract and getting that good to go.
I mean, it was hard. It's been really hard. I do rehab twice a day, every day. Really have been busting out with my trainer, just working on getting my range of motion back and strengthening my right leg, because my surgeon does the surgery a different way than most other surgeons do, and he takes the graft from your opposite leg instead of the same. So the entire time I was able to work on strengthening my right leg and getting my range of motion back on the ACL tear, rather than having to get my range of motion back and then working on strengthening it, which is why recovery usually takes so long. So I was able to cut my recovery time in half.
A lot of it's in the rehabilitation and in treating of the ACL. So yes, it's still traumatic, it takes a while to recover from, but people have still, research has come miles from where it once was.
Stulga, only a sophomore, has a lot of softball left to play, and although she has a long road ahead of her, it's not nearly as long as it could be.
It feels really great to be able to be back so soon, and especially not thinking that I was going to be able to. And I mean, I'm still facing some minor setbacks and stuff. I still get sore, I still get stiff, but it's awesome that I was only out for 3 months and I'm already back, able to help my team again. So, feels great.
You can catch number 33 in a newly repaired ACL in the circle this spring for the Leathernecks. We don't really know all it's taken for Stulga to return so quickly, but we do know that it's all been worth it.